Greetings everyone, thank you for joining me today. In this video, I would like to go through the skills of learning to manage your weaknesses and to transform them into strengths. Now, the first step in being able to manage your weaknesses and transform them into strengths is you must be able to identify your weaknesses. The identification of your weaknesses really takes the genuine practice of introspection and being able to solicit the feedback from others that are around you. Now, it's only natural that folks are apprehensive about thinking about their weaknesses and soliciting feedback from others, because nobody wants to understand or nobody wants to hear what they're not good at. They don't want to hear that they're not good at this, and they don't want to hear that this is a weak area, an area for improvement, and that's only natural, and it's something that mostly everyone wrestles with. It takes active management to actually go about and trying to determine and understand what you're weak in and what are areas of improvement, and so this is something that you must be able to do in order to take the first steps towards managing your weaknesses and transforming it into strength. So what I suggest to do in order to accomplish this task is to first really take a step back and think about what is the work that you do. Think about what areas you can improve on, and also seek out the feedback from others that you work with, for instance your managers and whatnot. Managers and your coworkers and other peers. Only once you identify your weaknesses and your potential areas of improvement will you be able to take next steps towards developing a plan to effectively deal with these and manage these weaknesses. So once you are able to identify your weaknesses, the next step is to manage those weaknesses. Now, how will you go about managing these weaknesses? Well, there are two things that you must keep in mind. First is you want to minimize the cost of resources, and you want to maximize your productivity. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is that when you are seeking to determine whether or not you want to strengthen your weakness and work on your weaknesses, you have to actually practice a cost-benefit analysis regarding this. Is it going to be actually a productive use of your time to try to strengthen these weaknesses? If it is, go ahead. Develop a plan and execute on the plan and develop these areas of weaknesses if it's going to really improve your productivity. But on the other hand, is it going to take so much time and so much resources to develop these resources that you're better off on just focusing on what you're good at and soliciting support on the areas that you're not as strong in? For instance, if you're a business owner and you really excel at the operations aspect of the business, but you don't really have a background in the financial aspect of your business, perhaps it's just a superior use of your time, more productive use of your time to focus on the business operations aspect of your business, and then hire some help to come in and to support you on the financial aspect of the business. So that's something to really consider and think about. Now, a personal example myself. Growing up, I grew up in a non-English, trilingual speaking household. My mother spoke Spanish, my father spoke Turkish, and I spoke English. We all spoke separate languages, and as a result of that, our conversations were rather limited and simple, and I didn't really have as much experience being able to develop those critical public speaking skills. As a result of this, I have been able to identify this as an area of improvement myself, and been able to take steps and develop plans towards improving my public speaking skills by taking on additional public speaking opportunities and just putting myself out there. So that is how you would go about managing your weaknesses. Determine whether it is a productive use of your time to develop the weakness, and rather than developing your weakness, determine whether it'd be more productive for you to hire someone to come in and provide support in that area of weakness. The next thing that you can do to strengthen your weakness is to transform that weakness into a strength. Now, how you go about accomplishing this task is a little bit more convoluted. You have to take a step back and look at the full picture of your weakness. What is your weakness? And beyond just focusing on what your weakness is, what are the drivers of the weaknesses? What are the results of the weakness? To circle back to my example of my multilingual, non-speaking household, the result of that was that I became highly independent in my how I conducted myself. I didn't have anyone that could provide me real, genuine guidance or anyone that could really support me in my school. And as a result, I was highly independent and I had to really think on my own. I had to really be able to accomplish the task on my own. And as a result of this, I actually excelled in my academics. I scored very highly in my standardized testings. And as a result of this, I decided to go ahead and focus in this area, focus on my academics, and to continue pursuing higher education and to leverage this into a career. So, when you're transforming a weakness into a strength, consider what area are you weak in, what is the cause of the weakness, and what's the result of the weakness, and take a step back to genuinely understand the full picture, the full ramifications of that weakness. Okay, so just to quickly recap, the first step in managing your weakness and transforming it into strength is to identify your weaknesses, solicit feedback, practice genuine introspection, and really be active in trying to understand and determine what your weaknesses are and potential areas of improvement. Next is manage your weakness. Take a view of minimization of cost and maximization of productivity. Perhaps it will be most productive for you to develop the areas that you're weak in. Or alternatively, maybe that'd be too much of a time sink. It would be too much cost and too much resources put towards strengthening the areas that you're weak in, and you'd be more better off by hiring in some support, avoiding the weakness first, or hiring support to provide support regarding the area that you're weak in. And next, to transform your your weakness into a strength, you have to really take a full picture view of your weakness and see what you are actually weak in, and what are the drivers of the weakness, and what are the results of the weakness. Alright guys, well, I hope that really helps you guys. Thank you for joining me for this video, and have a great day.